everyone, Miss Patti here at the Pomo School Library, and we're still in Dr. Seuss birthday week and Read Across America. And today we're going to be hearing The Lorax, one of my absolute favorites, so let's get to it. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. And there he is, the Lorax. At the far end of town where the grinkle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grinkle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. And what was the Lorax, and why was it there, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grinkle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock on his door. He stays in his lurkum at the top of the store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof, and on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters. And sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. At the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes most careful count to see that you've paid him the proper amount. And then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grovulous glove. And then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Schloomp! Down slumps the whisper-ma-phone to your ear. The old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through the snurgly hose. And he sounds as if he has smallish bees in his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long way back. Ooh. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean. And the song of the Swami Swan rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place. And at first I saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, miles and miles in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. And from the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. Oh, but those trees, those truffula trees. All of my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. Well, I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart, and I knew just what I'd do, so I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I'd built a small shop, then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy smeed, I took that soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazoomp. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree that I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke in a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and he puffed. What's the thing that you have made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I just chopped one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed is a fine something all people need. Why, it's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. It can be used for carpets or pillows or sheets or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, you're crazy with greed. There's no one on earth that will buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along. And he thought that my thneed that I'd knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I looked at the Lorax and said, you poor stupid guy, you never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. Oh, I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. Well, I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone, and I put in a quick call, and I called my brothers and my uncles and my aunts, and I said, look, listen here. There's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Wee Walkin, and sharp right at South Stitch. In no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. My goodness, I thought that he said he only was going to chop down one, boys and girls. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees in one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, well, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. But now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots, well, they're getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried as he sent them away. I, the Onceler, I felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not, but I had to grow my I meant no harm, I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, and I biggered my loads of the thneeds that I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds. And I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax, he came back with more gripes. I'm the Lorax. He coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and snuffled, snargled and sniffed. Onceler, he cried with a cruffulous croak. Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swalmy swans, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing when they've got smog in their throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough, but they cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Oh, where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape the smog you've smogged up around here. And what's more, snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, let me see you say a few words about the glumpity-glump. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making glumpity-glump and sloppity-slop. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you. You've glumped up the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, the future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. Then I got mad. Oh, I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. I said, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do, and for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering, and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs which everyone needs. And at that moment, we heard a sickening loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. It was the very last truffula tree of them all. No more needs, no more trees, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye, and they jumped in my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggled stars. And now, all that was left neath that bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing. He just gave me a glance. He just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance. And he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face as he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through the hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was one small pile of rocks and a word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was a long time ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and I've worried away, worried and worried. Through all the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, why, the word of the Lorax is perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, called the Onceler. He dropped down a seed. He let something fall. It's the truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest and protect it from axes that hack. And then the Lorax and his friends may come back. And that's the Lorax, my friends. Have a wonderful day.